Where to buy canning jars in Australia is a question I see get asked an awful lot online. I get asked it a lot as well. And today I need to go and get some extra jars because, yeah, well, I'll explain why in this video, why I'm going to get some extra jars. And yeah, what I thought I'd do is take you along with me so that I can show you the place where I actually originally set up with my jars over a decade ago now. And I'll show you what it's like to go and pick up an order of jars from that place. So yeah, let's go. G'day there, it's Rachel here from Bush Edge Homesteading Australia, and I've actually just rocked up at Aussie Mason. Also, they go online as Aussie Mushroom Suppliers as well, and I'm picking up a few new jars here today. I use a couple of different places to get jars. You've probably seen in my videos. This is one of the places. In fact, this is the place I originally got set up many years ago. In fact, it's probably been over a decade since I've been here, and this is where I got my original mason jars from many years ago. And I got quite a few back then, so I haven't actually needed to get a lot of extra jars over the years. I did get some Wex, I think it was about 2 years ago now, through Ozfarmer, and they're beautiful jars as well. But today I'm getting some of the ball mason jars, and I'm also getting some of the Aussie Mason jars as well from these guys. Now, as I said, I haven't had to buy a lot of jars, and that's because the ball mason type jars, which is what I originally started from with these guys, they are pretty much like jars pretty much for life. Like, they last forever and ever. But I did have some breakages recently. And back when I got my jars, I used to actually gift quite a lot because they weren't crazy expensive back then in the way that they are quite expensive now. So yeah, over the years, I guess, you know, over the last decade of years, we've kind of lost quite a few of the jars just through gifting and the breakage. And that's why I need to get a few new ones today. So I've got a couple of different boxes that I've ordered. I've got some ball mason quart jars because ball mason is the ones that I'm familiar with. Used them for years. As I said, they're a bit of an investment. They're actually a lot more expensive now. So a lot more of an investment than they were back when I originally set up. But there is a bit of a cheaper brand they do here as well now, which is their own ones, which is Aussie Mason jars. I've never tried them, but today I've got a box of them that I've ordered as well. So yeah, it'll be kind of interesting getting the two, seeing the two side by side, and then having a go later at canning with the two side by side as well, just to see how the two different ones actually go. But yeah, I reckon I should head inside. They have got the order ready for me because I ordered them last week and I said I was going to come down and pick them up. They do deliver and stuff as well. But yeah, let's go pick up the jars. Awesome, thank you for that. Them in the front. It will help if I actually unlock the car first, eh? Yep. Alrighty.
That's 3 boxes plus.
Oh, fantastic! I haven't actually tried the lids before, so it's gonna be good to give them a bit of a go as well.
Yeah, you get a free sealer as well to go with the lid, so just see your jars.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, I'll chuck him in. Yeah, I might get you to do that bit for me.
Where is you on the floor?
Yes, please. You're a legend. Thank you so much for that.
All right, no worries. Now I just need a signature on the docket.
There we go, all loaded up. Now I just need to get them home safely, unpack them, and we can have a bit of a look together. Home sweet home, time to unload. There's all the jars unpacked out of the car. Now what I thought I'd do is open them up with you outside, because it is an absolutely magnificent day at the moment. And yeah, I just thought it might be a nicer spot, and we can probably see a little bit better with the light out here as well. Okay, so let's start off with let's start off with just a bit of a run through of what I did actually get, because I forgot I'd also ordered these ones over here, which is some of the Aussie Mason jars that are the bigger size. I think they're called like a ½ gallon in the US. Here in Australia though, they are referred to as the 1.9 litre jars. So if I open those up, let's have a bit of a look at those. Now the reason I like this size is not for canning, so these ones are not canning jars. These ones are for things like dry storage, and they are also incredible for fermenting as well. So with these ones here, you've probably seen in some of our fermenting videos, I use the Mason tops, and they fit on the wide mouth on the top of these ones. I haven't actually used the Aussie Mason version of these before. I've got a couple of the ones that are the ball mason in the same kind of size, exactly the same principle. But these ones were a bit cheaper, which is why I got these. And that is a pack of 6 of those. Yeah, they're going to be great. The other thing that's really good about these ones is that they're good for dry goods storage. And you probably heard the fellow when I picked these up actually mentioned that the owner had thrown in a couple of extra things. So I had actually been kind of tic-tacking with him via email, just asked if I could grab a little clip when I came to pick up my order, and he was asking me if I'd used the vacuum sealers for the tops of the jars before, so he's actually thrown one in for me. How lovely is that? So you've probably seen in some of my other videos that I do actually have a vacuum sealer like this that I use, and it's a really cheap one that I got through Temu. It was like $35. And that has actually worked quite well. Essentially the way these work is they go on top of the jar and it basically sucks out all of the air. And that means it's really good when you've got dehydrated products, basically things for the shelf. It's not for canning purposes, but yeah, it basically just creates a vacuum seal on jars. And that saves you using vacuum seal bags and things. So yeah, he's really kindly actually given me one, and yeah, I will give that a go in a future vid and show you how that works. So yeah, that's super cool. Very grateful for that. The other set of jars that are Aussie Mason jars that I've got are these ones over here. So these ones here are the quart-size jars. And this really was the reason that I needed to make this order, because quart-size jars are incredible for, if you're doing canning of soups and stews and stocks and all that sort of stuff. The pint-size jars can be a little bit small, whereas this size here, you can do canning in, and it's a little bit bigger. So they're called a quart-size jar. A litre here in Australia is what they hold. I think it's just about a litre. And yeah, that's a 6-pack of those that I got. So again, they're the ones with the wide kind of mouth on them. And you're probably noticing that they all come with at least one lot of lids and rings with these ones. So that's pretty standard when you're ordering this type of jar. And yeah, that's going to be so handy to have with some upcoming canning projects. They are new, actually. I do want to just stipulate, Aussie Mason jars to me are completely new. So when we do a bit of canning with those for the first time, what I'm going to do is do a bit of a side-by-side between these and these jars here, which are the ball jars, that are the ones that I have been using for years and years. So when I originally got set up with all my Mason jars from the Aussie Mason store, I got these. They didn't actually have the Aussie Mason brand back then. which was quite interesting having a bit of a chat with a fellow when I was picking up the jars. He was kind of explaining that the owner actually gets these made themselves in a factory specifically for their brand, and yeah, it's going to be really interesting to can side by side with this one here, which is the ball mason jar. As you can see, pretty similar dimensions and everything on those, so it'll be kind of exactly the same canning times and all that sort of stuff when I go to use them. Yeah, pretty little design on those as well. Quite like the strawberry, and it's really nice to see the wording Aussie Mason on it as well. Yeah, anyway, very similar jars. It will be interesting when we use them side by side, just to see in particular how they hold up with the Aussie Mason ones with the lids. The lids is probably the one unknown when it comes to these Aussie Mason jars for me. And as you know, your canning lids are absolutely essential, because if you have a lid and it fails, you've basically wasted all of your product that you've worked so hard, often to grow, to put into the jar, and also to preserve as well. But having a bit of a look at the lid there, you know, it really doesn't look too dissimilar to the ball ones. And to be honest, the ball ones over the last few years, even though they say they're still kind of manufactured in the US, it does feel like the quality of the lids has changed a bit over the last couple of years. So yeah, it will be interesting to see if these are as good as these ones. That, to be honest, is why I've actually switched to using 4 jars lids. In saying that, the 4 jars lids aren't the easiest to get here in Australia. When you try and buy it through their website, it's really expensive, particularly for the shipping. And yeah, like once you're going per lid, I think it's like 60 odd cents a lid, even when you get it through Amazon, where the shipping's a little bit better. So it will be good if these Aussie Mason lids are an effective lid, because they're easy to get here and they're a better price as well. So I will do a bit of a look up just to see what the price of these ones is per lid, and yeah, I'll pop that up on the screen as well for you. So there we go, there's our total haul of jars. I'm definitely excited to have half a dozen of these really big half-gallon jars. I especially appreciate these now that I've got one of these kind of vacuum sealers for the tops of the jars. You know, ever since I've had the one that I have, and I'm really keen to give this one a go as well, it just means that I'm saving on the plastic that you use with vacuum sealers. You know, my vacuum sealer I've had now for, I think I worked out it was 2013. I bought that thing for like $69 from Aldi. It works beautifully, but you do have those consumables in the bags. Whereas if you're using one of this style, it means that you can just reuse one of these jars over and over, and the lids, you just reuse those over and over as well. It's not like when you're doing canning where they become disposable. So it's going to be cool giving that a go. It's definitely going to be good giving some different, more accessible jar lids here in Australia a bit of a go as well. So looking forward to trying those, and I'll show you those when I do. Obviously these guys, they're a known quantity, having more of those quarts so that I can definitely do a bit more of the stocks and stews and all that sort of stuff. Particularly given I broke those jars, I just don't have enough. So having those back is going to be awesome. And then these ones here, again, excited to give them a go, given they are kind of something, it's a bit more affordable here in Australia compared to the ball ones. Yeah, so there we go. Hopefully you enjoyed following along today as I went and picked up all of these jars and goodies, and hopefully that helps you just give a bit of an idea of how you can get your hands on canning jars here in Australia if you're needing some canning jars too. As always guys, thanks a bunch for joining. Catch you later.